Imagine if lurking among the junk catalogues and leaflets were letters so toxic they could completely ruin your life. And imagine if Royal Mail was making money out of them.
Here is just some of the mail that my mother's been receiving.
Scam mail, just like junk mail, delivered by Royal Mail. Letters from foreign con artists invading our homes and our bank accounts, taking £2.4 billion a year at the last count.
Everyone is asking for money or making threats.
For years, scam mail has flooded into the UK, snaring victims and their families.
I could hardly open the door because there was a tsunami of letters that had come through.
They were literally everywhere in the house, and there were hundreds of them. We had a clear out and we ordered a 5-ton skip.
There are fake lotteries, dodgy catalogues, criminal clairvoyance, promising big cash prizes or guaranteed good luck. The problem is, to claim your winnings, you just need to send off a small sum, maybe £20 or £30. But that fat cheque to change your life never actually arrives. It's always another small sum away.
My mother was spending between £2,000 and £4,000 a month.
His whole pension money was going every week.
Over 10, 12 years, at least £500,000 went off to criminal scammers.
And this can be the result of that obsession. There are 120 chequebooks here from just one victim, and over 4 years she spent £40,000 on the scams. After replying to the first tempter letter, victims' names are put on what's called a suckers list. These are often sold to other criminals around the world. Which is exactly what happened to Paula Kay's husband, Ray.
Africa, Australia, Germany, France, you name it. They were coming from all over the world.
At the height of this, how many letters were you getting a day?
Oh, God.
20.
Yeah,
30
exactly.
A day.
Ray hoped to win enough money to pay for a golden wedding anniversary trip to Canada. But instead, hooked on scam mail, he lost their £5,000 life savings and almost his marriage.
I made the biggest mistake of my life. I didn't think I could be that gullible.
I regret what I've done. I feel really silly, foolish, annoyed and angry that I could have let myself be fooled by these people that send these letters out.
Like Ray, 76-year-old Pamela was addicted to scam mail, losing thousands of pounds. She has come to Exeter University to find out why.
I do want to say very strongly that it isn't only the elderly, because actually the biggest friend of the scammer is complacency. The feeling that I couldn't fall victim to something like this. And actually you could, whoever you are. Oh, hello, come in.
Hello, Stephen. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Professor Stephen Lee has done a landmark study for the Office of Fair Trading into the psychology of scam mail victims.
It did become an addiction.
Yes.
And you think, well, you know, perhaps next time I will win it. The next letter, not the next month, just the next letter.
That's so common that it has a name. It's called the gambler's fallacy. There's actually, of course, there's a range of techniques that scammers use. Making something look like an official communication, so you'll feel, I have to open this. Others are going for the gut, really. We call them visceral influences, putting a huge sum of money at the top of the letter. The misery caused by some of these scams is really unbelievable.
Do you think you've won on this one?
I know I've won it.
How sure are you?
I'm 100% sure with that. You think I'm a nutcase? I'm not.
Okay.
100%.
This film shows the torment of Jessica Look in the grip of scam mail addiction. She lost around £50,000.
We try and stop her, she gets nasty. She tells me to leave.
Her daughter Marilyn, who tried everything to stop her, is behind the camera.
Are they being stupid? I don't think so. When your mental health declines, that's not stupidity.
But when I tell you it's not true,
I've got really depressed.
I don't want to see you keep sending your money off
I don't
every
really
week.
think about me being upset when I haven't got as much of my life left.
When I got to the hospital, about 3 hours before my mother died, she didn't speak much because she was too poorly, but she did say to me, "Marilyn, has the post been?" That was one of the last things I heard her say.
What did you think?
I don't know.
After Jessica had died, Marilyn cleared around 30,000 scam mail letters out of her home. The cruel legacy of an otherwise happy life.
It was literally everywhere. The shed was full, under the bed, it was in a cornflake box, it was in every drawer, every cupboard, it was everywhere. That's just some of the scam mail removed from my mother's home.
The experience drove Marilyn to set up Think Jessica to help other victims and their families.
We can get up to 26,000 visitors a month to the Think Jessica website. If these people were getting mugged on the street, there'd be an outcry. But because this is happening via the post and it's going on behind closed doors, nothing is being done. These people just aren't getting any help.
For years, criminals behind scam mail have operated with impunity outside UK borders, largely free to inject their fraud into our postal system.
International boundaries have no meaning for these people. They're serious, organised criminal networks. At the top echelon, there won't be that many of them. They'll be running a series of networks and they will be operating from all over the world.
The City of London Police is trying to get to grips with the scammers. The lead force for the investigation of economic crime in the UK, their officers are busy gathering evidence. But will the scammers' home countries help?
There's going to be different levels of cooperation in different countries of the world. There's no doubt about that. Some countries we get absolutely cracking cooperation. Some countries it's much more difficult. I can assure people that we will achieve something. We will.
The question is, would something be achieved by looking closer to home? A lot closer. Like here at the Royal Mail's headquarters in central London. Or here on an anonymous industrial estate in Southall, West London. This is home to the UK hub of an international business mail firm called Spring Global Mail. Royal Mail owns a third of the Netherlands-based company, which acts as their sole overseas agent. It's a venture believed to earn Royal Mail millions, though it declined to say how many. Spring Global has centres in 15 different countries. It enters into mail contracts with companies from around the globe. So if you're an Australian firm, say, wanting to get a catalogue delivered to the UK, talk to Spring. Most of it's legitimate, but they're also a vehicle for scammers, and it's been going on for years. But how on earth does Spring Global Mail, part owned by Royal Mail, allow scam mail to even enter the UK?
Unfortunately, it is rather easy to get scam mail into the UK. The fraudsters used all the legitimate channels to get mail in, channels that are used by businesses who want to market into the UK in legitimate ways, and they use that cover to actually manipulate and target people in the UK.
Surely Spring Global Mail checks what it sends to us? Mike Haley thinks it should do more.
$100,000. One simple thing that the agents who are selling Royal Mail services overseas can do is to ask for copies of the mail shots that are going to be distributed up front, so they can look at them, check them and see whether they are fraudulent mail.
Spring Global has said it has no powers to act as a censor, and it is just not possible to identify scam mail, even when sent in transparent wrapping. But here's an example sent via Spring Global to the UK.
A one-eyed monkey could see that this was scam mail. It says here on the front, you're definitely going to be depositing £20,500 in your personal account. Congratulations.
Once it's in the system, it's too late. Our current postal laws mean Royal Mail then have an obligation to deliver it. And to all intents and purposes, it all looks above board, especially as many scammers take advantage of a service provided by Spring Global and part owners Royal Mail. Together they offer what's called the local look, which means letters like this from foreign fraudsters can come complete with the trusted Royal Mail logo and be delivered to victims looking like they came from Britain.
My mother used to say, it isn't a scam, it's genuine. This is the Queen's Mail. She wouldn't be delivering it if it was a scam.
Scammers use the Royal Mail postmark because it creates some trust and authority around the mail shop. A lot of people, particularly elderly people, will see that and think that there must have been some checks already in place so that this mail is trusted mail.
Spring Global told us the local look is a globally recognised marketing activity and the vast majority of companies using it are legitimate. Roughly what kind of proportion of Spring Global's business would you say is made up by scam?
Only Spring Global Mail can tell how much of this business is potentially fraudulent, but I've heard that it could be between 30 and 40% of their business.
Spring Global Mail didn't comment on these figures. We asked both Royal Mail and Spring Global for an interview, but they declined, instead supplying us with statements.
Royal Mail is determined to do all it can to root out scam mail. We very much understand the upset and disquiet that scam mail can cause households across the country.
Spring Global Mail says,
we take the problem of scam mail very seriously and believe that targeting the senders of the mail and raising awareness with the general public are the best ways to resolve any issues.
Royal Mail and Spring Global Mail point to an operation with the Metropolitan Police in January, which removed 6 million scam letters from the UK. Both say they are committed to working with other UK agencies to stamp out the problem, and that the Met operation and other investigations has led to the cancellation of 17 overseas bulk mail contracts this year. They added that what they've been doing should remove an estimated 16 million scam mailings per year, which Spring say represents 3% of the company's revenue.
What I want to know is, why didn't they do that years ago? Why has it suddenly just dawned on them that they can cancel these contracts?
They need to ratchet up their response, recognising the human misery that comes about by the delivery of this fraudulent mail. I think that any serious business will want to protect its customers, so for just making a quick buck off some fraudsters, they should balance that against the fact that they have a big customer base they need to protect.
I blame Royal Mail for these mailings reaching my father. At the end of the day, they know what they're delivering.
They don't realise the impact it's having on people's lives.
I think it's all about revenue and money.
With so many loopholes being exploited by scammers, is it time for tougher legislation? MP Caroline Noakes is now so appalled at scam mail's miserable legacy, she's pushing forward a private member's bill.
We need to be able to intercept what is obviously scam mail when it comes into the country, at the point of entry.
And she also wants postmen and women to deliver change, empowering them to identify victims whose postbag is bulging with scam mail.
One of the big problems at the moment is that a victim has to identify themselves as a victim, and in many cases they don't. They believe that this scam mail is genuine.
Sadly, without government backing or massive public pressure, Caroline's bill stands little chance of becoming law. We're left to hope postal companies do more to keep scam mail off our doormat, and heightened vigilance can keep the scammers from our cash. As I've travelled around the country speaking to the victims of scam mail and their families, I've picked up bags of this stuff. And having turned it all into these briquettes, I can't wait to burn it. That's all it's fit for. At last, a use for scam mail. And all that junk too.